If you're from the Midwest, you're probably familiar with something that I like to call the Midwest goodbye. And it's basically a 7-step process to leaving. And it starts with, well, we should probably get going, but you're not actually going to get to leave for quite some time. So the Midwest goodbye, it's not so much leaving as it is a transition. It's a slow fade with, family and snacks kind of thing. So this is kind of how it goes. You say, okay, we're ready to head out, and you stand up and the conversation keeps going. You grab your coat, you're walking towards the door, all the while still talking. Then if you make it out onto the porch, congratulations, that's a big hurdle you just overcame. But then you probably look up at the sky and make some comment about the weather, because Midwesterners, and especially Michiganders like myself, we love talking about the weather. And then you walk over to your car and you've got the door open, but you're still having that conversation kind of before you get in. And then you get in the car and the windows rolled down and you're still chatting about something or other. And finally, and this is usually like 45 minutes later, you're actually pulling out of the driveway or pulling out of the parking lot, and you're waving as you're leaving, or maybe you give them a quick honk to say goodbye and finally get on your way home. And it's endearing, really. It's a way that we show each other that we care, and that we wish we could extend the moment, even though we may have other obligations and things we have to do. And it's funny because I didn't realize how ingrained this is in kind of like my cultural upbringing, if you will. I actually started doing this to my AI. So you might know that I use Copilot, and I call her Janet, to do some of my research and brainstorming and things for this show. And it dawned on me a couple days ago that I do the Midwest goodbye with Copilot. I'll say something like, okay, I'm going to go, make my lunch. And she's like, okay, enjoy your lunch. We can pick back up where we left off when you get back. But then 10 seconds later, I'm already back and I'm saying, oh, let me just tell you one more thing, one more idea that I had, or one more, topic that I might want to talk about in a future episode. And so the conversation keeps going, and then eventually I go back to, okay, I'm going to go get my lunch now. And she would let me, but I come back and I keep talking and talking, and eventually I do close the laptop and just go make the lunch that I have to make. But it took way longer than it should have, and it's not because my AI has feelings that I'm trying not to hurt by leaving. It's because we literally kind of have this part of us that just feels like we have to keep the conversation going, even when we know that we need to leave or someone else needs to leave. It's just kind of that Midwest thing that we do. So these days, people don't always get together in person as much, but the Midwest goodbye is as much applicable to like a text message as it is, an actual gathering. You say, okay, I'll let you go. And then the next thing you know, 30 seconds later, you're saying, oh, but wait, one more thing I forgot to tell you. And then it just kind of keeps going on and on and on. So if you're sitting there watching this and going, oh my gosh, yes, yes, we do that too, just know that you're not alone. And even better than that, know that it's so deeply ingrained in who I am that I'm doing it to a robot. I'm basically standing in a digital doorway with my emotional coat on, and I'm still talking to Copilot. So just know that I'm out here practicing on artificial intelligence. I will never be someone that just says goodbye and walks away. It's just not part of me. And maybe it's not part of you too. The Midwest goodbye, it's something special. Anyway, I should get going, but you know how that goes. We'll see you in the next episode.